Aloha, it's Robert Stellick with Blue Planet Surf. Today's video is going to be about downwind foiling, and it's shot in all 360, so you can use your mouse to kind of scroll around and look behind me or look any direction you want, which is kind of cool. But I got inspired to go downwind foiling more again after the racing in the Maui to Molokai and then the Molokai to Oahu races, where the foilers were just passing us by at more than twice our speed without even paddling, just flying. And to me, that just seems like the way downwind surfing is supposed to be. You know, just like going at the speed of the bumps and flying full speed without using the paddle very much. So I'm not there yet. I still got a long way to go, but the stay was good. I launched at Portlock Point. It was like maybe 15 to 25, maybe more. Windy. There's white caps. Looks kind of flat in the pictures, but it had pretty good bumps, good conditions. And when you're starting out, the challenging part is just catching the bumps and keeping it going once you're up flying to keep the board going. When I first started downwind foiling, I used a 12.6 board with a tuttle box installed into it, and that kind of helped because I was able to kind of catch the bumps the way I usually do, using the board speed and then getting up on the foil. Now I'm using an 8.8 by 27. It's kind of a easy foiler, custom model that I made for myself to use for downwind foiling. It's a little bit longer and narrower than our regular boards, and that helps kind of catch the bump a little bit easier. But I think now I'm ready to actually use a shorter board. I'm gonna next time I'm gonna go with my 6.6 easy foiler, just because I kind of learned how to use the foil more and less of the board speed. So it's really just pumping up on that foil. Doesn't take that much board, and as soon as you get the foil lifting a little bit, then having that smaller board is just going to be nicer on the bumps and connecting the bumps. Now in this video, when I first started, I was using the 12.6 with a 280 Go foil. There's a video about that. You can check it out. That's kind of my first few attempts, successful attempts were on that setup. No, but the 280 is really it's big, has a lot of drag, and it flexes a lot. So it actually makes it feel a little bit unstable. It does lift early and easily, but then controlling it once you go a little bit faster is harder. So here I'm using the Maliko 200 wing, which I like. Our Blue Planet Easy Foiler 1750 I've used as well, and it works, but this one, the Maliko 200, is a little bit bigger, has a little bit more lift, so that one's the one I'm using right now and seems to work well. So we're actually working on a new Blue Planet Easy Foiler size that's more optimized for downwind foiling as well. You know, the biggest challenge I would say is just getting the foil to lift up out of the water at first, you know, because when you're surf foiling, you know, I've been surf foiling for almost 2 years now, and it's not, you know, you catch the wave and then you're able to pop up, and the waves is pushing you along. But in a downwinder, getting up to the speed that you need to foil is a lot more challenging. And then you got to kind of lift up the foil out of the water, and then once you get it gliding, then the challenge is to keep it going, how to connect the bumps, and you always have to look for, you know, how can you connect into the next one. You know, sometimes you can chase down the really fast moving ones, which is awesome, like stuff you can't really do on a regular downwind board. But then other times you have to kind of know when to kick out of the bump you're on and kind of turn into the next one, because you can't really chase after them too much. So I'm just still figuring that out. I had some pretty long runs, but nowhere near what those guys are doing, where they're doing like 20 miles without coming off the foil. Maybe I can do a quarter mile or maybe half a mile pushing it, but it's a lot more challenging than it looks. I kind of stitch together obviously the parts where I'm flying easily, but when sometimes I wouldn't catch one, and then after a couple of attempts I'm super tired and have to take a break. There's a few wipeouts too, like if you're not completely centered on the board, you know, once the foil lifts up, it's really hard to control it, and then, you know, breaching is another issue. So there's a few wipeouts. So basically a lot of times I was actually trying to fly the foil fairly low, keep the board pretty low to the water to avoid getting close to the surface where, you know, any little chop or a ripple in the water can cause the foil to cavitate and then breach. So you know, it's kind of a thing like when you start moving faster, I bring the foil lower, and then as I'm slowing down, maybe try to keep the foil up a little bit so I can pump it easier with a little bit more height. I'm still learning. I'm no expert at all, but I'm hoping this kind of helps people out a little bit that are trying to figure out how to do the downwind foiling. Just don't think it's going to be an easy thing to learn. I would definitely say it's definitely not easier than foiling in the surf. Catching waves in the surf is definitely much easier than catching waves in the open ocean. But it is possible. It is cool. It's awesome, and I'm gonna be working on my technique and hopefully getting better where I can actually do a race soon and just foil in the race. I'm pretty excited about trying that as a new thing. Maybe the Maui to Molokai race would be a good one to try that in good conditions. Hopefully I'll get to that level. Here on Oahu, I would say we have our conditions are not as consistent as on Maui. We get a little bit less wind, but you know, we do have good conditions, and this run from Portlock to Diamond Head can be really good. So I don't see why I shouldn't be able to learn how to do this. Just take some time to get into it. Here's a little bit of footage from our shop. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel. And check out our shop. We got lots of cool stuff at our shop. Aloha.